all love our smashed avo on toast, but where does the word avocado come from?
Before there were alarm clocks, there were people called knocker-uppers. How did that work?
Who was Typhoid Mary, and why might it be a good idea to avoid her ice cream with peaches?
And finally, in this episode, what does the world's best-selling watch have to do with terrorism?
Goodness me.
Hello and welcome to REMORANDOM, a celebration of everything interesting. I'm Remo Giuffre.
And I'm Claudia Chanshaw.
Okay, we're here again. Claudia, I've got a different background. I'm in our kitchen. I've been banished from the studio office because my son is visiting from WA and I had to give that over to him. So here I am. I'm sorry that it's not the same glamorous background that it was last week, but
can I just ask, he's the child. Why isn't he in the kitchen and you in your office, Dad?
He is much, much taller than me. I mean, we're from completely different gene pools, obviously. But, so he really needs that extra long bed where his feet can hang over on the edge. How's your week been? What's going on?
Oh, I've been so busy. I've just had an exhibition opening. It's been fabulous. It's been huge.
I noticed that you joined our new REMORANDOM WhatsApp community. Thank you for doing that. Just got that started. So stay tuned, listeners. We'll have a link to that on our website. But it's a place where REMORANDOM readers, or I don't know, can I call them randos? Is that REMORANDOs?
That sounds like John Rando.
Can gather and provide us, with ideas and suggestions for new topics. So, the thing that makes me happy.
What's that?
Well, lots of things make me happy, but one thing that makes me happy is waking up to a nice review for REMORANDOM. And this morning there were two. One from Michael S. here in Sydney. Purchased these for my kids in a digital world and woke school. I'm not sure about that woke school. There is a lack of general knowledge and learnings. This fills a void. All right, so that was good. And then
that's nice.
Jack B. from New York City. Always good to get a glimpse into Remo's mind. A great connector and idea communicator. Oh, shucks. Gifting it to my aspiring artist kid to inspire them. So that started the day well for me.
That's nice. And you are absolutely international, mister. And it's Sydney and New York. Hello.
So what are we going to talk about?
I thought, seeing you're in the kitchen, it would be appropriate to speak about breakfast foods. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Well, what I always have, gluten-free muesli, local, with sort of tangy, creamy, not too sweet Greek yogurt and cut up banana and a little drizzle of honey with milk.
Ooh.
Always
Nice.
hits the spot for me. What about you?
Oh, you healthy boy. Well, this morning I had avocado with fresh tomato in a lovely light little omelette.
Ooh.
Now, avocado, it's a funny word, isn't it? Now, avocado. Where does the word avocado come from, do you think? The word avocado is Aztec, and the word is ahuacatl. Ahuacatl. Do you know, like the way that rolls off the tongue? You know what it means? You will never know what it means.
Well, I happen to know what it means, but,
What does it mean?
Humour me. It also means testicle.
It does. It means testicles. They call it the testicle fruit because they think of that pendulous shape. And I don't mean to hold like that. But
I know. We don't need the hand
the testicle
movements.
fruit.
We're doing video.
That's only for you people watching.
Nice set of avocados, Claudia.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So if you were ever wondering, that's where it comes from. It's the testicle fruit. The word decimate. Now you could decimate an avocado, and it's got an interesting origin. The Roman army used to punish the soldiers, and they would kill 1 in every 10. So that's decimate.
Awesome.
Deco,
awesome.
Yes. Decimation. Now, do you like a drink?
I do. I'm known for that.
Do you
I'm
like
well
to
known for
drink
that.
Do you like to drink grog?
Grog, it's almost my favourite thing. What do you call grog?
Okay, I like grog. Well, I drink a lot of wine, but grog was a mix of rum and water. And it was named for an admiral that they gave the nickname of Old Grogram. And the reason they called him Old Grogram was because he wore a coat made of grogram, which is this fabric that's a mix of silk and wool, but it's kind of scratchy, so we don't really use it these days. But that's where the word grog comes from. Do you like that one?
Yes, I do. So this is from the etymologies chapter. Is that right?
Yeah,
I'll
interesting
just
etymologies.
I'll hold it up there for the.
Oh, look. Oh, if you move it over, there you go. You can see the testicle fruit or
Ooh,
the avocado.
There's the avocados. Listeners who aren't watching video, there's a set of avocados there.
Yes, and
volume 2.
We might call those avocados jumbos because they're so large. But you know where the word jumbo came from?
Well, I do know this, and it
You know
blew me-
everything.
I know everything because I actually researched it. You know, I can pretend that I don't know. I can pretend that I don't know for dramatic impact. But no, jumbo. I always thought that jumbo was like meant big, and you know that elephant from the Victorian era, the London Zoo elephant that was called Jumbo was called that because he was big or she was big. Do we know if it was a she or a he? Anyway, it's the other way around, right? It was the other way around. I mean, because the elephant was big, that's why we call a jumbo jet, or a jumbo meal, a jumbo meal. So
jumbo shrimp. Yeah.
Jumbo
So,
everything. Named after the
Jumbo
elephant.
was the name of the elephant. That's true. Poor old Jumbo, living in the London Zoo, being so large and all. I wonder if they fed her avocados.
Well, let me get back to you about that. So what other etymologies are you going to regale me with?
Okay, well, I'm not talking about Top Gun when I mentioned the word maverick. Now, what do we think a maverick is? It's someone who sort of marches to their own beat, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the word is actually named after Samuel Maverick, who was a Texas rancher. And he decided he was not going to brand his cattle. So because he didn't follow suit, they called him a maverick. And that's why a maverick is a maverick, because they don't march the same beat.
Who knows all this stuff? Not me, but now I do.
I love the word pumpernickel. And not only is it a great word, but it reminds me of Bugs Bunny's show with Sylvester the cat, the scholar, pumpernickel.
You talked about Bugs Bunny in our last episode. I think I'm starting to feel you've got a bit of obsession about that, but you wouldn't be the only one. Back to pumpernickel, where's that word come from?
Okay, it's a German dark bread. I think we all know that. But where does the word come from? So the German word pumpern means to fart.
I'm glad
And the
you
word
said
nickel.
that. It's very unladylike.
I've got my hand over my mouth, fart. And the word nickel means goblin. So when you put the words together, pumpernickel is a fart goblin.
Yeah. Would you like some cream? Would you like some cream cheese on that fart goblin, miss?
Yeah, and it's called that because apparently pumpernickel makes you fart.
Oh dear.
And then if you fart too much, there's the word that is a French word. And what do you think it means when we sabotage? Where does that come from?
I also know this because I know everything.
Yeah, you know everything.
The French word sabot means wooden shoe. And during labour strikes in the 19th century, disgruntled workers would throw their wooden shoes into the machinery to stop production. That's why
that's
they
clever.
sabotaged it.
Sabot, S-A-B-O-T. Now, I've got one more word for you, Remo.
Okay.
It's a word that I like very much. It's my favourite word in the whole chapter, and that is the word tawdry. Oh, it's so tawdry. It was such a tawdry affair. And that comes from a market in St. Audrey where they used to sell cheap lace and other flashy goods. And so St. Audrey was shortened to tawdry to mean something that was very cheap and showy. So that is tawdry.
Well, you're the opposite of St. Audrey, I would say, Claudia. So
Thank you. And funnily, I used to call myself Tawdy, not tawdry, because I couldn't say Claudia. I was tawdy. What's your name? Tawdy. So we've just investigated the tawdry farting goblins with big avocados. It's a good start.
all right. It's a strong start, I would say. And I want to move on to another funny sounding word, and that is knocker-uppers.
Which sounds rude.
Knocker-uppers. It's basically a human alarm clock. You know, during the Industrial Revolution, labourers really had to wake up early. There was no leniency for being late to work, so there was one of those things you just needed to absolutely be sure to be at your coal mine or in your factory on time. So to meet this demand, this whole opportunistic but short-lived profession arose, the profession of the knocker-upper. And knocker-uppers it's very onomatopoeic, that they would use various methods to wake their paying clients up. A long bamboo pole sort of tapped on the window was kind of common. The soft hammer. The most evocative one was a woman called Mary Smith, a knocker-upper in East London. There's a very famous photograph of her from 1931. I know you've seen it, Claudia. And what was she doing in that photograph? She had a long rubber tube, and she was shooting dried peas. So how fun would that job be? You've just got to blow dried peas at windows all morning.
And don't inhale.
She was a colourful character by all accounts, and is the hero of a children's picture book by Andrea Uren called Mary Smith.
Mary Smith, the knocker-upper.
Mary Smith, the knocker-upper. And, the thing about knocker-uppers, to make a quid, because each client might only pay a knocker-upper sixpence a week for this service. So to generate anything substantial, they would need to knocker-upper a lot of people. So they had these very elaborate routes that they would go on to sort of maximise their client knocker-uppering. And elderly men and pregnant women were often doing this job, along with, strangely, police constables who would supplement their pay by doing it. So
it's interesting that pregnant women were chosen, because to be knocked up means you're pregnant. So I wonder if there's any link there.
Oh, listeners, please let us know via the website whether or not Claudia's onto something. Well, they related to that, the chalkboards that some of the residences would have outside their premises with their requested wake-up time, they would draw on their chalk, were called knocky up boards. So
knocky up boards. I love it.
Wake-up slates, aka wake-up slates. So language was kind of more interesting in those days, wouldn't you? Can we agree?
I like that.
Can we agree that, language has become belander?
I don't know. The word Google's pretty funny. Like to Google, the verb to Google.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Stop contradicting me. Anyway, so the alarm clock put paid to the profession of knocker-uppering, and the last knocker-upper retired from the job in 1973 in Bolton, England. So there's my...
It's quite recent.
Knocker-upper story. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
quite
in the
recent.
70s. Wow. That must have been a small town. They didn't even have the clock radio, which we had in the 70s. Remo, have you ever heard of Typhoid Mary?
You're talking about that woman from
Typhoid Mary.
early last century? Yes.
I am, yes. So poor Typhoid Mary. It's such a nasty name, isn't it? It's like, Pussy Bill or something like that. Typhoid Mary. She was an immigrant from Ireland in the early 1900s. Her real name was Mary Mallon, and she was a cook for well-to-do families in New York. And wherever Mary went, typhoid seemed to follow. So not a little lamb, but typhoid. But Mary was absolutely healthy. She didn't have typhoid at all, but it seems that poor old Mary was a carrier. So between
Yeah.
1900 and 1907, she infected up to 122 people. Didn't mean to.
Mm.
And almost 50 people died from typhoid.
Yikes.
It's not very good. And everybody was baffled. Well, like, where did this come from? But a Dr. George Soper from the New York City Department of Health discovered that maybe Mary was the cause. So poor old Mary was stuck in quarantine, not once, but twice. And they put her in quarantine at the North Brother Island on New York's East River. And she was quarantined there for the rest of her life until she died from complications from a stroke. So poor old Mary.
It's a little bit sad. It's a little bit
I
sad.
know, it's very
yeah.
sad. And they worked out, they even nailed what food she was serving that might have caused all the trouble, because she used to serve this great dish. It was ice cream with hand-cut raw peaches. And they believed that she didn't wash her hands when she made this dish. So, don't have the dessert, folks.
Don't skip the dessert. Yeah, the whole hand washing thing is interesting, isn't it? I mean, hand washing went through a big revival during COVID, but I just
Yeah.
wonder how much of that habit stuck. I don't see too many people washing their hands for 30 seconds in the bathroom anymore, do you?
I still carry my sanitizer around.
Right.
So I sit on the train.
That wasn't the question.
sanitizing. Oh, am I washing my hands? Yeah, for 30 seconds.
So anyway, sorry to interrupt you. Yes, poor Mary. And
Poor Mary. Anthony Bourdain, the late lovely Anthony Bourdain, chef, even wrote a book about Typhoid Mary in 2005. And he was very sympathetic to her cause. I think it was like from one cook to another.
yeah, cooks in solidarity with one another. So
So the moral of the story is wash your hands, Jeffrey. You remember that? Wash your hands, Jeffrey, with the Solvol, Jeffrey.
oh,
Wash your
God.
hands, Gloria.
Claudia, you are a
TV.
pop culture TV Bugs Bunny treasure trove. So I think we've got time for
That's appropriate.
that's a hint.
Time.
That's a hint.
Yes.
So, do you wear a watch?
Of course I do. I've got the world's largest watch. Look, it takes up my whole wrist.
Right. Oh, remember when ladies used to wear tiny little watches? That
Yes,
was
that's
a
when their
sign,
eyesight was better.
a sign of femininity. Anyway, the
Yes.
world's best-selling watch is the Casio F-91W.
Wow.
It's extremely cheap. I did some Googling, there's that word again,
Yeah.
to find the Aussie dollar price, and it was like around $20.
Oh, so cheap.
The thing is, they have a very long battery life. Officially, it's 7 years, but anecdotally, people have talked about them ticking away for 10 years. In fact, this story, most of the ideas for the books these days are coming in from elsewhere, not, from my head, but from other heads. And one of our readers sent this idea in along with a couple of other ideas. And he was, and he still is, Tony Wheeler, who was the founder with his wife of Lonely Planet publication.
Oh,
So
good on you, Tony.
I know. I thought, add him to the
story.
Rolodex. Add him to the Rolodex. Gee, Tony, how did you build Lonely Planet? Maybe you can give me some hints. Anyway, one of his ideas was this watch, because the thing is, even though it's the world's best-selling watch and they consistently produce about 3 million of them every year, there's a twisty bit. There's a twisty bit because they've also become associated with terrorism.
Oh, no.
I know. And it started when people were noticing that Osama bin Laden was wearing this watch. And, the fact that the son of a billionaire, Saudi billionaire, was wearing a $20 Casio didn't escape the attention of investigators, so they kind of looked into it a bit. As it happens, with a bit of tinkering, the guts of these watches can be used on what they call IEDs, improvised explosive devices. So digging a little bit deeper, the US investigators then discovered that 52 of the detainees stationed at Guantanamo were wearing either this particular model or a very closely related model. So,
Coincidence?
methinks not. Yeah. So as it happens, Casio watches were given to students of Al-Qaeda training camps who were trained in the, construction of timed explosive devices and yada, yada, yada.
Wow.
So that's why this watch became kind of declared to be, a sign, the sign of Al-Qaeda. It's a funny thing because it's the world's most popular watch. You wouldn't want everyone to be profiled as a terrorist. You just happen to have this on the wrist. But the fly in the ointment to this story really is the fact that there's another well-known photograph. We've included it in the book of someone else wearing a Casio watch, and that was Barack Obama.
Stop.
I know, and yes, don't go there. I mean, we know that he's a good man, and there's no way he'd.
Yeah, you can't jump to conclusions there.
No, I'm not. So I think all of those stories were from volume 2 of the book. I've enjoyed reacquainting myself with the weird and wonderful, and thank you for doing so as well.
It's a good read because you can dip in and out and you come away with a big head, a head full of facts.
Well, suits all the attention spans. Do you read much?
I do. It's mainly, I do read a lot, but I'm mainly research because I'm often lecturing on design topics.
My wife is more the reader in the family. I'm the writer, she's the reader.
Perfect combo.
Anyway, that is all for this episode of Remorandum. You can find all of our episodes online at remorandom.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Or you can watch us. We're very, very watchable. You can see us in video format on Spotify or on YouTube.
Yes, and with that, I know we talked about this before. Is that a rabbit or a rat behind you?
It's a rat. It's a rat.
Yeah, so you...
a 3-meter high robot rat.
You Spotify YouTube people are lucky because you get to see that. Finally, you can order the books online, once again, at remorandum.com.
And we'd love you to contact us. Comments, suggestions via the website, remorandum.com, or great ideas for more topics.
Well, I'll see you next week, Claudia. And
I'm going to fix my hair and have some avocados. Bye, Remo.
Bye.